Captain Hyun-woo Kim stared at the blue glow of his communication panel. The message had come through just 5 minutes ago, but he had read it 7 times already. His hands were steady as he reached for the recording device, but his mind was racing. The bridge of the Earth Defense Fleet ship Daegu was quiet except for the soft hum of the engines. They were patrolling the edge of human space, far from Earth, far from any help. Hyun-woo had been a captain for 12 years, and he had never received a message like this one. All human vessels and colonies have 72 standard hours to surrender completely to the Galactic Council, he read aloud to his crew. Failure to comply will result in total military action against all human settlements. This is the final warning. The bridge crew looked at each other with worried faces. Lieutenant Da-min Park, the communications officer, spoke first. Captain, should we send this to Earth Command? Already did, Hyun-woo replied. He walked to the main view screen and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, thousands of alien ships were probably moving toward human space right now. Get me Admiral Bo-ra Park on Earth. Priority channel. While they waited for the connection, Hyun-woo thought about how they had gotten to this point. Humans had been in space for only 300 years. They had colonies on 47 worlds, which seemed like a lot to humans. But in a galaxy with millions of planets and thousands of different alien species, humans were nothing special. They were new, they were small, and most aliens treated them like annoying children. The view screen flickered, and Admiral Bo-ra Park appeared. She was sitting in her office on Earth, and her face looked tired. Behind her, Hyun-woo could see other officers moving around quickly. Captain Kim, she said, I assume you got the message. Yes, Admiral. What are your orders? Bo-ra sighed. Come back to Earth as fast as you can. We're calling all ships home. Every captain, every crew member. We need everyone here for what's coming. Admiral, how many ships do they have? Our scouts report at least 50,000 different vessels from multiple species. Maybe more. They're coming from every direction. Bo-ra paused and looked directly at the camera. Hyun-woo, this isn't a fair fight. We have maybe 200 combat ships. They have an army. After the call ended, Hyun-woo gave orders to return to Earth. As the Daegu turned toward home, he wondered if his ship would be one of the last human vessels to make this journey. On Mars, Governor Min-ho Lee was having the worst day of his life. The Red Planet's main colony housed 2 million people, and they were all looking to him for answers he did not have. He sat in the emergency meeting room with the other colonial governors, connected by video link to Earth. We should try to talk to them, Min-ho said for the 3rd time. Maybe we can make a deal. Give them some of our territory, pay them taxes, something. Governor Hye-jin Choi from the Outer Rim colonies shook her head. Her face was angry. You want to give up without a fight? My people didn't travel 50 light years from Earth just to become slaves to aliens who think we're insects. Your people will be dead insects if we fight, Min-ho shot back. Be realistic, Hye-jin. They have thousands of ships for every one of ours. Admiral Bo-ra Park listened to them argue from her seat at Earth Command. She had heard the same arguments from dozens of governors and military officers. Everyone was scared. Everyone had opinions. But Bo-ra knew something they didn't know. Enough, she said quietly, but her voice cut through the arguing. I'm activating Emergency Protocol 7. All colonial governments will follow Earth Command. Orders without question until this crisis is over. Min-ho looked surprised. Admiral, with respect, Protocol 7 hasn't been used in over a century. And what can Earth Command do that we can't? We're all using the same weapons, the same ships. Bo-ra smiled for the first time in hours. Min-ho, there are things about Earth's capabilities that most people don't know. Things that most of you don't know. Trust me. After ending the call with the governors, Bo-ra walked through the underground levels of Earth Command. She took an IO elevator that required 3 different security codes and went down farther than most people knew the building went. At the bottom, she walked through a long hallway to a door marked Deep Projects Division. Dr. Jiho Nam was waiting for her. He was a thin man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been working in the Deep Projects Division for 30 years, and Bo-ra was one of only 5 people on Earth who knew what he really did. It's time? Jiho asked. The Council gave us 72 hours, Bo-ra replied. How long do you need? The installations have been ready for 2 years. We can activate everything in 6 hours. Jiho looked at a tablet in his hands. Bora, are you sure about this? Once we do this, there's no going back. The galaxy will never see us the same way again. Bora thought about Captain Hyunwoo Kim, racing back to Earth in his small ship. She thought about Governor Min-ho Lee, trying to protect 2 million people on Mars. She thought about Hye-jin Choi, angry and ready to fight even though she couldn't win. They think we're weak, Bora said. They think we're primitive. They think they can just tell us to surrender and we'll roll over like good little pets. Well, Jiho said with a small smile, they're about to learn something new about humans. Bora nodded. Start the activation sequence, and Jiho, send the message to all the installations. Use the old codes. Which message? Tell them it's time to stop pretending. Deep under the surface of Earth, machines that had been waiting for centuries began to wake up. Similar machines on Lunabase, on Mars, in the asteroid belt, and on every human world started their startup sequences. Most humans didn't know these machines existed. The aliens certainly didn't know. For 300 years, humanity had been playing a careful game. They had let the galaxy think they were using normal technology, normal ships, normal weapons. They had been patient. They had been quiet. They had been underestimated. In 72 hours, that was all going to change. Captain Hyunwoo Kim felt. His ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, racing toward Earth. He didn't know it yet, but he was about to be part of the most important moment in galactic history. The moment when humanity stopped hiding what they really were. Captain So Young-yoon had been watching the stars for 3 days straight. Her ship, the New Soul, was one of Earth's fastest exploration vessels, and right now it was hidden behind a large asteroid near the edge of human space. She was supposed to be watching for alien ships, but what she saw made her stomach feel sick. "Captain," called out her science officer, Lieutenant Jaemin Ko, "I'm counting at least 12,000 ships in the main fleet, and that's just what we can see." So Young looked at her main screen. The alien armada was huge beyond anything she had ever imagined. Ships from dozens of different species moved together like a giant metal cloud. Some ships were as big as cities. Others moved in groups of hundreds, small and fast like angry insects. "Are they all heading for Earth?" she asked. "No, ma'am. Our long-range sensors show 3 more fleets just as big coming from different directions. They're going to surround all of human space." So Young had been a ship captain for 15 years. She had seen alien ships before, but never like this. This wasn't just an attack. This was the entire galaxy coming to destroy humanity. "Send a message to Earth Command," she ordered. "Tell them the aliens aren't joking. This is the biggest military force I've ever seen." On Earth, President Tae-min-jang stood in front of cameras that would broadcast his message to every human colony in space. His speech was going to be heard by 50 million humans scattered across dozens of worlds. Most of them expected him to announce their surrender. The broadcasting room was small and quiet. Only 3 people were with him: Admiral Bo-ra Park, Dr. Jiho Nam, and Yoon-ji Kim from the Department of Deep Projects. Yoon-ji held a small device in her hand that looked like an ordinary tablet, but Tae-min knew it was much more than that. "My fellow humans," Tae-min began, looking straight into the camera. 3 days ago, the Galactic Council demanded our surrender. They told us we had 72 hours to give up everything we have built among the stars." He paused and took a breath. Around the galaxy, humans stopped what they were doing to listen. They believe we are weak. They believe we are primitive. They believe we have no choice but to obey them. Taemin's voice got stronger. They are wrong about all of these things. On Mars, Governor Min-ho Lee watched the broadcast with 2 million colonists. In the Outer Rim, Governor Hye-jin Choi listened with her people. On ships throughout space, human crews gathered around their communication screens. Today, humanity stops hiding what we really are, Taemin continued. For 300 years, we have been patient. We have been careful. We have let the galaxy underestimate us while we prepared for this day. Taemin looked directly at Yoon-ji Kim and nodded. "Initiate Protocol Prometheus." Yoon-ji's hands moved across her tablet. She entered a code that her great-great-grandmother had taught her when she was a child. The same code had been passed down through 7 generations of her family, waiting for this moment. "Authorization confirmed," Yoon-ji said quietly. All installations are responding. On Luna Base, technician Woo Jin Park was doing routine maintenance when alarms started going off everywhere. He ran to the main observation deck and looked out at the moon's surface. What he saw made him forget how to breathe. Huge metal structures were rising from under the ground. They had been hidden there for so long that moon dust covered them completely. As they emerged, the dust fell away to show smooth, shining surfaces that seemed to bend light in strange ways. "What in the world?" Woo Jin whispered. His supervisor, Chief Engineer Hyo Jin Lee, appeared beside him. "Woo Jin, you're about to see something that most humans have never seen, something we've been hiding for centuries." Similar scenes were happening across human space. On Mars, massive arrays emerged from the polar ice caps. In the asteroid belt, mining stations that everyone thought were just mining stations opened up to reveal enormous installations. On every human world, hidden technology that had been sleeping for generations suddenly came to life. Dr. Ji-ho Nam watched the activation status on his screens in the Deep Projects facility. Green lights appeared one by one as installations reported ready status. "All systems online," he reported to Admiral Bo-Ra Park. "The signal array is fully operational." "What exactly are we about to do?" Bo-Ra asked. She knew the basics, but Ji-ho understood the science better than anyone. "We're going to send a message to every part of the galaxy at the same time," Ji-ho explained. "Not using radio waves or normal communication methods. We're going to use dimensions that most species don't even know exist. And that will prove—" "What?" Ji-ho smiled. "It will prove that humanity has been using technology that makes their best science look like children playing with rocks." The signal that went out from Earth was simple. Just a series of numbers that any intelligent species would recognize as a mathematical sequence. The Fibonacci sequence: 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, but it wasn't the message that mattered. It was how the message traveled. On the flagship of the Altaran Empire, Admiral Veltar was preparing his fleet for the final attack on human space when every communication device on his ship started beeping at once. His science officer, a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms, looked at his instruments with confusion. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the human homeworld." "Impossible," Veltar replied. "We're 47 light-years away from Earth. Any signal from there would take 47 years to reach us. Sir, the signal is arriving now. Real time. And it's not just reaching us." The science officer's voice got higher with excitement and fear. "Every ship in the fleet is receiving it simultaneously. Every ship in every fleet, no matter how far from Earth they are." Admiral Veltar felt his blood turn cold. "That's not possible. Nothing travels faster than light." "Sir, this signal didn't travel through normal space. Our instruments show it came through dimensions we didn't know existed." Across the galaxy, the same scene was playing out on thousands of alien ships. The human signal was reaching everyone at exactly the same moment, ignoring distance, ignoring the speed of light, ignoring everything that alien science said was possible. Captain So-Young Yoon watched from her hiding place as the massive alien fleet simply stopped moving. Thousands of ships that had been advancing toward human space just stopped. She could see smaller ships moving between the larger ones, probably carrying messages between fleet commanders who were trying to understand what had just happened. "Captain," Lieutenant Jaemin Ko called out. "We're receiving communications from the alien fleets. They're not directed at us, but our equipment is picking them up." "What are they saying?" Jaemin listened to his translation software for a moment. "They're asking each other how humanity just did what they did. And, Captain, they sound scared." Back on Earth, President Taemin Jang finished his broadcast with words that would be remembered for thousands of years. "To the Galactic Council and all who serve them, you wanted to know what humanity is capable of. You just got your first lesson. This signal you received is just the beginning. If you wish to discuss terms, you may contact us, but you will no longer dictate to us." Dr. Ji-ho Nam looked at his instruments as the signal completed its transmission to every corner of the galaxy. The technology that humanity had been hiding for centuries was working perfectly. "How long until they figure out what this means?" Admiral Bo-Ra Park asked. "Not long," Ji-ho replied. "Their best scientists are probably working on it right now, and when they do figure it out, they're going to realize something terrifying. Which is, if we can send signals through higher dimensions, we can probably send other things too. Like ships, like weapons, like entire fleets that could appear anywhere in the galaxy without warning. Bora nodded. The galaxy was about to learn that. Humanity had been holding back for 300 years, and now that they had stopped holding back, everything was going to change. Admiral Veltar of the Altaran Empire had conquered 47 star systems in his long military career. He had faced the most dangerous weapons in the galaxy and never felt fear. But right now, standing on the bridge of his flagship, he was terrified. "Run the calculations again," he ordered his science officer. "Sir, I've run them 6 times. The results are the same. The human signal reached our position and every other position in the galaxy at exactly the same moment. Not almost, the same moment. Exactly the same moment." Veltar looked at the star charts on his main screen. His fleet was positioned 47 light-years from Earth. The other alien fleets were spread across hundreds of light-years in all directions. For a signal to reach all of them simultaneously, it would have to travel through space that didn't follow normal rules. "What do our physicists say?" The science officer's 4 arms moved nervously. "They say it's impossible, sir. Nothing can travel faster than light. But the humans just did it." Commander Seok Jin-Oh stood on the bridge of the human destroyer Busan's pride and watched something he had never seen before. The alien invasion fleet, which minutes ago had been moving toward human space like a giant metal storm, was now completely still. Thousands of ships just floating in space, not moving, not attacking, not doing anything. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're detecting massive signal traffic between the alien ships. They're all talking to each other." "Can we understand what they're saying?" "Some of it, sir. Our translation computers are picking up words like impossible and how and dimensions over and over again." Seok Jin smiled. He didn't know exactly what Earth had done, but whatever it was, it had stopped the largest military force in galactic history dead in its tracks. On Earth, Dr. Su-Min Yu was having the busiest day of her career. She was the galaxy's leading expert on dimensional physics, but most aliens had never bothered to learn that she was human. To them, she was just another scientist who published research papers that only a few people could understand. Now her communication devices were exploding with messages from every major university and research center in the galaxy. Everyone wanted to know how humanity had just broken the fundamental laws of physics. "Dr. Yu," came a message from the Krillian Institute of Advanced Sciences. "Please explain how the recent human transmission violated causality principles." "Dr. Yu," said another message from the Vorthan Republic Science Academy. "Our instruments detected dimensional fractures during the human signal. This should be impossible." Su-Min sat in her office at Earth's Global Defense Council and laughed. For 20 years, she had been publishing research papers about higher dimensional physics. The alien scientific community had treated her work as interesting but theoretical. They never imagined that humans were already using the technology she was describing. She opened a communication channel to address all the alien scientists at once. "Colleagues," she began, "I believe I can help explain what you observed. For the past 20 years, my research papers have described the theoretical possibility of communication through higher spatial dimensions. What humanity demonstrated today is that this theory has practical applications." She paused to let that sink in. "Of course, the signal transmission you detected represents only the most basic level of dimensional manipulation. There are many other applications that become possible once you understand how to access higher dimensions." Across the galaxy, alien scientists felt their blood turn cold. If humans could send signals through higher dimensions, what else could they send? Ambassador Gae-Yul Song had been Earth's representative to the Galactic Council for 5 years. Most of the time, the other delegates treated her like a curiosity. The Council had thousands of member species, and humanity was considered one of the least important. Today, everything was different. "Ambassador Song," called out the delegate from the Crystalline Collective, "your species must explain this technology immediately." "Ambassador Song," demanded the representative from the hegemony of Vor, "the Council requires full disclosure of human capabilities." Gae-Yul stood calmly at her speaking platform, while dozens of alien delegates shouted at her. She had been waiting for this moment for years. "Honored delegates," she said in a clear voice that carried through the chamber. For centuries, this council has treated humanity as a minor species. You have restricted our trade, limited our expansion, and refused to share advanced technologies with us. The chamber got quieter as the delegates listened. You did this because you believed we were primitive. You believed we had nothing of value to offer the galaxy. Ga-Yul smiled. Today, humanity has shown you that your beliefs were incorrect. The delegate from the Alteron Empire, a tall creature with gray skin and 6 eyes, spoke up. Ambassador Song, if humanity possesses this level of technology, why did you not reveal it before? Because you never asked nicely, Ga-Yul replied. You demanded surrender, you threatened war, you treated us like children who should be grateful for your attention. But you never simply asked us what we could do. Supreme Chancellor Mordek of the Galactic Council was having the worst crisis of his long political career. In the past 6 hours, he had received emergency communications from every major military force in the galaxy. All of them were asking the same questions. How advanced was human technology? What else could humans do? Were their invasion fleets now sitting targets for human retaliation? Get me every piece of intelligence we have on human space activities, he ordered his staff. For the next 4 hours, Mordek reviewed files that painted a disturbing picture. For 300 years, the galaxy had been watching humans expand through space, using what appeared to be normal, faster-than-light drives. Human ships would disappear from one location and appear at another location, just like every other species. Ships. But what if that wasn't what was really happening? What if humans weren't using faster-than-light drives at all? What if they were simply stepping through higher dimensions like walking through doorways? Sir, his military advisor reported, our analysts have reviewed human ship movements for the past 50 years. If humans can manipulate higher dimensions the way today's signal suggests, then their ships might be able to appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Mordek felt sick. Are you telling me that every human ship we've detected could potentially be anywhere in the galaxy right now? Sir, we're telling you that we don't know where any human ships actually are. If they can move through higher dimensions, our tracking methods are useless. Captain Jae-Sung Choi was having a very strange day. His exploration ship Mokpo had been captured by pirates 3 days ago near the edge of civilized space. The pirates had planned to sell him and his crew as curiosities to alien collectors who paid good money for rare species. But something had changed. The pirate captain, a nasty creature with too many teeth, was now treating Jae-Sung like royalty. Human. Captain, the pirate said nervously. Perhaps we can make a deal. You give us safe passage through human space, and we let you go free. Jae-Sung was confused. 3 days ago, you were going to sell me. 3 days ago, we didn't know what humans could do. Now the entire galaxy knows that your species can break the laws of physics. We don't want trouble with your people. Similar scenes were happening throughout the galaxy. Sujin Baek, a human trader working in alien markets, suddenly found that everyone wanted to buy her goods. Not because they were high quality, but because owning something made by humans might offer protection if humanity decided to use their mysterious powers. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. For centuries, they had assumed that military might and technological advancement followed predictable patterns. A species would develop basic space travel, then better weapons, then faster ships, then energy shields, and so on. But humanity had taken a completely different path. While the galaxy was focused on building bigger weapons and faster ships, humans had been quietly learning to manipulate the fundamental structure of reality itself. Dr. Sumin Yu received one more message. That evening, this one from the Supreme Chancellor himself. Dr. Yu, the message read, the Galactic Council formally requests a meeting to discuss the peaceful exchange of scientific knowledge with humanity. We believe there may have been misunderstandings about humanity's place in the galactic community. Sumin laughed and sent back a simple reply. We'll consider it. The galaxy had spent 300 years treating humanity like annoying children. Now they were about to learn what happened when the children turned out to be more advanced than the adults. Captain Young-Soo Kim had been flying cargo runs between human colonies and alien trading posts for 8 years. He knew exactly how most aliens treated human traders. They charged high prices, gave low payments, and acted like they were doing humans a favor by doing business at all. Today was different. Young-Soo walked into the trading station on Kepler 442b. a busy commercial world where dozens of species came to buy and sell goods. Usually the alien merchants barely looked at him. Today they all stopped what they were doing and stared. "Captain Kim," called out HFY, a blue-skinned trader who normally treated Young-Soo like dirt. "Please, honored captain, come to my shop first. I have the best prices in the station for human goods." Young-Soo was confused. "Honored captain? HFY, yesterday you told me humans make cheap junk." "Yesterday was different," HFY said nervously. "Today we know that humans are very advanced, very powerful. Please, let me offer you excellent deals." As Young-Soo walked through the trading station, the same thing happened everywhere. Alien merchants who used to ignore him now competed for his attention. Some offered prices 10 times higher than normal. Others gave him expensive gifts just for walking into their shops. "What's going on?" Young-Soo asked a Krillian trader who had just offered to buy his entire cargo hold for twice its usual value. "You haven't heard?" the trader asked with wide eyes. "Your people sent a signal across the galaxy that traveled faster than light. Instantly. Through dimensions we didn't know existed." The trader's voice got quieter. "If humans can do that, what else can they do?" Young-Soo smiled and accepted the trader's generous offer. On the Council homeworld, Supreme Chancellor Mordek was discovering that fear could spread faster than any human signal. Every hour brought new reports from across the galaxy. Species that had been planning to join the invasion of human space were now sending messages asking for peace talks. "Sir," his aide reported, "the Vorthan Republic has withdrawn all their ships from the joint fleet. They say they need time to reassess the strategic situation." "And the Crystalline Collective?" "Also withdrawn, sir. They've sent a formal apology to humanity and offered to share their crystal-growing technology as a gesture of friendship." Mordek looked at the list of species abandoning the invasion. In just 24 hours, the largest military alliance in galactic history was falling apart. Everyone was too scared to fight an enemy that could apparently ignore the laws of physics. "What about our intelligence reports on human activities?" His aide looked uncomfortable. "Sir, that's the problem. We've been tracking human ships for centuries, but now we don't know if any of our tracking was accurate. If they can move through higher dimensions, every human ship we thought was at one location could actually be somewhere completely different." "You mean we have no idea where the human military actually is?" "No, sir, we don't." Daeun Lim had been working undercover as Earth's cultural observer at the Galactic Council for 3 years. Her official job was to study alien societies and report back to Earth. Her real job was to listen to what the galaxy's leaders really thought about humanity. Today she was listening to the most important council session in centuries. The human threat must be contained, declared General Vokhtar of the Hegemony of War. "We cannot allow one species to have this level of technological advantage." "Contained how?" asked Chancellor Bilneth of the Outer Rim Alliance. "General, they just proved they can communicate across the galaxy instantly. For all we know, they can transport armies anywhere they want." "We don't know what they can actually do," Vokhtar replied. "The signal could have been their only advanced technology." Daeun almost laughed out loud. "If only they knew." Admiral Zorketh of the Alteran Navy stood up. "General Vokhtar, with respect, your military thinking is outdated. We've been preparing to fight an enemy using normal weapons and normal ships. But what if human weapons don't follow normal rules? What if their ships can appear inside our ships? What if they can attack us from dimensions we can't even detect?" The chamber got very quiet. "Are you suggesting we surrender?" Vokhtar asked. "I'm suggesting we think very carefully before we make humanity our enemy," Zorketh replied. Captain Jae-Sung Choi was discovering that being human had suddenly become very valuable. The pirates who had captured him were now treating him like an honored guest. They had given him the best cabin on their ship, served him expensive food, and stopped calling him primitive meat. "Captain Choi," the pirate leader said nervously, "we have a business proposal for you." "I'm listening. We know many trade routes that the authorities don't watch. We could work together. You provide safe passage through human space, and we share our profits with you." Jae-Sung thought about this. A week ago, these same pirates had been planning to sell him. Now they wanted to make him a business partner. What makes you think I need your help? He asked. The pirate leader looked confused. Well, you're just one human with one small ship. Am I? Jae-sung asked with a smile. How do you know there aren't 50 human ships hiding in dimensions you can't detect? How do you know this conversation isn't being monitored by human intelligence? Services you've never heard of? The pirate's face turned pale. Is it? I'm not allowed to say, Jae-sung replied, which was true because he honestly had no idea. But the pirates didn't need to know that. Soo-jin Baek was having the best trading day of her career. She sold simple human electronics to alien customers who acted like they were buying magical artifacts. A basic human calculator that cost 5 credits to make sold for 200 credits to a Krillian businessman who wanted to own human technology. Is this calculator made using dimensional manipulation? The Krillian asked seriously. It does calculations, Soo-jin replied truthfully. She didn't mention that it was just a normal calculator that any first-year engineering student could build. The Krillian carefully wrapped the calculator in protective material like it was a precious gem. Thank you for sharing your advanced human technology with us. After the customer left, Soo-jin called her sister on Earth. Insu, you won't believe what's happening out here. Aliens are paying huge amounts of money for basic human goods. They think everything we make uses super advanced technology. Are you taking advantage of them? Insu asked. I'm charging fair prices for good products, Soo-jin replied. It's not my fault they think my flashlight was built using dimensional physics. Back on Earth, the Global Defense Council was receiving reports from humans throughout the galaxy. The pattern was the same everywhere. Aliens who had treated humans badly were now desperately trying to make friends. President Taemin-jang read the reports with satisfaction. It seems our signal had the desired effect. The entire galactic economy is shifting, reported economic advisor Han Sol-young. Human goods are suddenly in high demand. Trade agreements that favored aliens are being renegotiated in our favor. Some species are offering us technology they've never shared before. What? About the invasion fleets? Admiral Bo-ra Park smiled. Most of them have stopped moving toward our space. 3 major fleets have turned around and gone home. The remaining ships are just sitting there, waiting for orders that aren't coming. And the Galactic Council? Ambassador Ga-ul Song answered. From her office on the Council homeworld. They've sent 17 requests for emergency meetings in the past 6 hours. They want to discuss peaceful coexistence and mutual scientific exchange. President Taemin laughed. A week ago, they wanted us to surrender unconditionally. Now they want to exchange science peacefully. The galaxy is learning that there are consequences for underestimating humanity, Dr. Ji-ho-nam observed. For 300 years, we've been patient while they treated us as inferior. Now they're discovering that the primitive humans they looked down on have been quietly mastering technologies they didn't know existed. What's our next move? Taemin asked. We wait, Admiral Bo-ra replied. Let them think about what they've learned. Let their fear grow. Let them realize that everything they thought they knew about human capabilities was wrong. And if they decide to attack anyway? Dr. Ji-ho-nam checked his instruments. The dimensional manipulation arrays were still fully operational, ready to do much more than just send signals. Then they'll learn that the signal was just the beginning, he said quietly. And they really don't want to find out what comes next. Across the galaxy, billions of aliens were asking the same questions. If humans could send signals through higher dimensions, what else could they do? How long had they been hiding their true capabilities? And most importantly, what would happen to anyone who made humanity their enemy? The answers to those questions would determine the future of the galaxy. Professor In-ho Park had spent his entire career studying mathematics. Today, he was using math to reshape the galaxy. He stood in the great chamber of the Galactic Council, facing thousands of alien representatives who 3 weeks ago had demanded humanity's surrender. Now they sat quietly, listening to every word he said. The equations are simple, In-ho explained, pointing to the holographic display behind him. Once you understand how to access higher spatial dimensions, faster-than-light communication becomes basic physics. The alien delegates looked at the mathematical formulas with a mixture of awe and terror. These weren't just theoretical equations. Humanity had proved they worked. But communication is only the beginning, In-ho continued. The same principles allow for instantaneous transportation of matter across any distance. Ships, weapons, even. Entire fleets can move through higher dimensions as easily as walking through a door. Supreme Chancellor Mordek raised his hand. Professor Park, is humanity willing to share this knowledge with the galactic community? Inho smiled politely. Honored Chancellor, 3 weeks ago you demanded our unconditional surrender. Today, you ask us to share our most advanced science. Perhaps we should discuss what the galaxy is willing to offer in return for peaceful cooperation. The chamber erupted in nervous whispers. For the first time in galactic history, a primitive species was dictating terms to the Council. On Earth, Haiwan Yung was having the busiest month of her life. As Earth's first galactic coordinator, she was managing trade negotiations with dozens of species that suddenly wanted to be humanity's best friends. The Vorthan Republic is offering us exclusive access to their quantum manufacturing technology, her aide reported. The Crystalline Collective wants to trade their crystal-growing secrets for basic dimensional physics principles. And the Alteran Empire has offered to make us full partners in their mining operations. Heywan looked at the list of offers that kept growing every day. What about the trade agreements that were so unfavorable to us before? All canceled. The species that used to charge us premium prices are now offering discounts. Some are even paying us just for the privilege of trading with humans. And the territorial restrictions? Gone. The Council has officially recognized humanity's right to expand into any unclaimed system. Several species have even offered to sell us systems they already control. Heywan shook her head in amazement. 3 weeks ago, humans were considered a minor nuisance in galactic politics. Today, they were the most powerful species in the galaxy, and everyone knew it. Commander Dong Ho Shin stood on the bridge of the exploration ship Guangzhou as it approached the galactic core. This region of space had always been forbidden to younger species like humanity. Only the oldest and most powerful civilizations were allowed to explore the dangerous systems near the galaxy's center. Today, Dong Ho's ship was leading a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels toward territories that humans had never been permitted to visit. Sir, his navigation officer reported, the hegemony escort ships are requesting permission to adjust their course to match ours. Permission granted, Dong Ho replied. It still felt strange to have alien military ships asking humans for permission to do anything. Behind them, Admiral Veltar's flagship followed at a respectful distance. The same Alteran admiral who had come to destroy humanity was now begging to accompany them on exploration missions. The galaxy's greatest military leaders had become humanity's eager assistants. Commander Shin, came a message from Admiral Veltar. Our long-range sensors are detecting unusual energy readings from the core systems. Should we proceed with caution? Thank you for the warning, Admiral, Dong Ho replied. We'll investigate using our standard protocols. What Veltar didn't know was that standard human protocols included technologies that could analyze threats from higher dimensions. If something dangerous was waiting in the core systems, humanity would detect it long before conventional sensors picked it up. Yuri Choi was drowning in requests. As Earth's new Minister of Dimensional Sciences, she received hundreds of messages, every day from alien scientists offering their life's work in exchange for basic insights into human technology. Dr. Choi read one message from the Krillian Science Academy. We offer our complete database of stellar engineering techniques in exchange for 1 hour of instruction on dimensional manipulation theory. Minister Choi said another from the Ao Vorthan Institute. Our civilization's entire knowledge of quantum mechanics is yours if you can explain how humans achieve instantaneous signal transmission. Yuri sat in her office on Earth, surrounded by offers that would have made her rich, beyond imagination just a month ago. Today they seemed almost insulting. These aliens were offering to trade centuries of scientific progress for what humans considered basic knowledge. Should we accept any of these offers? Her assistant asked. Accept the ones that seem fair, Yuri replied. But make it clear that we're not desperate for their technology. We're willing to trade as equals, not as subordinates begging for scraps. The assistant looked confused. But some of these offers represent incredibly advanced science, Yuri smiled. And in exchange, they want access to dimensional physics that we've been using for centuries. The question isn't whether their science is advanced. The question is whether it's advanced compared to what we already have. Chang Min Li stood before the Galactic Assembly, addressing the largest gathering of intelligent species in the galaxy's history. As Earth's representative philosopher, his job was to help the galaxy understand what humanity's revelation meant for the future. For millions of years, Chang Min began, galactic civilization has operated on certain assumptions. Stronger weapons defeat weaker weapons. Faster ships outrun slower ships. More advanced technology always beats less advanced technology. The assembly listened in complete silence. Representatives from thousands of worlds wanted to understand how their fundamental beliefs about progress and power had been proven wrong. Humanity's development took a different path, Chang Min continued. While the galaxy focused on building bigger and more powerful versions of existing technologies, humans chose to understand the universe at a deeper level. We didn't build faster ships. We learned to step outside normal space entirely. A delegate from the Outer Rim Alliance asked, "Are you saying that military strength is meaningless?" "I'm saying that true strength comes from understanding, not from force. Humanity spent 3 centuries letting the galaxy underestimate us while we quietly transcended the limitations that other species accepted as permanent. And now?" Chang Min looked around the vast assembly hall. Now the galaxy must decide whether it wants to learn from humanity's example or continue believing that progress only comes through incremental improvements to existing ideas. Captain Hyun Woo Kim, who had received the original surrender demand, that started everything, now commanded a joint exploration fleet that included ships from 20 different species. The same aliens who had come to destroy humanity were now competing for the honor of serving under human command. "Captain," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a priority message from Earth Command." "Put it through." Admiral Bo-Ra Park appeared on the main screen. "Yunwoo, how are our new allies working out?" "Very cooperative, Admiral. Almost suspiciously cooperative." Bo-Ra laughed. "They're scared, Captain. 3 weeks ago they thought they could push humanity around. Now they're terrified that we might decide to push back." "Are we going to push back?" "That depends on them. As long as they treat us with respect, we'll be generous neighbors. But if anyone decides to test humanity's patience again..." Bo-Ra's expression got serious. "Well, they've seen what we can do when we're being friendly." On Earth, Dr. Jiho Nam stood in the Deep Projects facility, looking at instruments that monitored humanity's dimensional manipulation arrays. The technology that had sent one simple signal across the galaxy was capable of so much more. "Doctor," his assistant asked, "when will we reveal the full extent of our capabilities?" Jiho thought about the question. The galaxy had seen humanity send a signal through higher dimensions. They had no idea that humans could transport entire fleets the same way, or create weapons that could strike targets from dimensions that couldn't be defended against, or access energy sources that made every other technology obsolete. "We'll reveal more when the galaxy is ready," Jiho replied. "Right now, they're still adjusting to the idea that we're not the primitive species they thought we were. If they knew everything we could do, they might panic completely." "And if they attack us again?" Jiho looked at his instruments. The dimensional arrays were fully operational, ready to do things that would make the original signal look like a child's toy. "Then they'll learn that the signal was just our way of being polite," he said quietly. "And they really don't want to find out what happens when humanity stops being polite." President Taemin Jang stood in his office looking out at the stars. 3 weeks ago, humanity had been a minor species facing destruction by the combined forces of the galaxy. Today, they were the most feared and respected civilization in known space. The transformation had happened not through conquest, but through revelation. By showing the galaxy a tiny fraction of their true capabilities, humanity had changed everything without firing AS.